afternoon, Rotarians and guests. My name is Richard Dent and I am your MC for today. We would like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri and the Bunurong people of the Kulin Nation and pay our respects to elders past, present and future, and extend that respect to all Indigenous persons here today. Welcome to our hybrid meeting, to those online and to those in the room. And of course, the world is in a tricky place at the moment, and so we're all praying for peace all over the world. Thanks today will be given by Adrian Nelson, in fact, because Peter Hollingworth unfortunately is not well today and is unable to attend us, followed then by the loyal toast presented by Vice President Mary Barry. Please make sure that your glasses are charged. Thank you. Right.
Well, thank you, Richard, and good afternoon. As we gather today, let us reflect on the core value that unites us in Rotary: service above self. In a world often driven by self-interest, our commitment to serving others stands as a powerful reminder of what truly matters. Whether it's mentoring young leaders, supporting global health, or building local community projects, each initiative we undertake brings hope and change. Today is our annual Vice President Reporting Day. It's not only a celebration of what we've achieved, but a call to continue leading with compassion, purpose, and unity. Thank you for being part of something greater than ourselves and make a lasting difference. For good food, fellowship, and the opportunity to help others, we give thanks.
Thank you, Richard and Adrian. Rotarians and guests, give you a toast to Australia and Rotary International. Australia and Rotary International.
Australian.
Please be seated. We will now break for lunch and we will reconvene at 1:10 p.m. And for those of you online, you'll be allocated to a breakout group should you wish to join, and we'll see you all again shortly. Members, visitors and guests, it's my great pleasure to welcome you to our 46th meeting of this Rotary year and our 5,082nd club meeting in our 104th year. And it's just wonderful to see you all here today, including a number of people online. Today is an important day in the club's calendar, the annual presentation by the club's vice presidents and the recognising of some individual Rotarians for exemplar activities during this year. President Catherine Baxter sends her apologies and regrets she's unable to be here today. Therefore, Vice President Reg Smith and I will manage the meeting and report of both club directors. We are pleased to have here today our outgoing District Governor, Michael Lapina, on a brief visit before he flits off overseas. We will hear from DG Michael shortly. Accompanying Michael is his son Alex, his right-hand person, and he's from Rotary Activate. And also as our guest today, we have club member Deb Yin Fu. Deb will later be recognised by the club and named a Paul Harris Fellow. Would you please acknowledge and make DG Michael, Alex and Deb all welcome. Now we have some visiting Rotarians and guests of members. So I invite you and your host to stand when your name is announced and ask that you please remain standing to enable the club to welcome you in a collective manner. Visiting Australian Rotarians, we have Sarah Murdoch from Pascoe Vale, and we have 3 from Passport Melbourne. Aviv Palti, a regular member or visitor to our club, Maria Hicks and Jessica Palti. And we have guests of Rotarians. We have Kat Sayers, guest of Bernie McIntosh, and Sam Callegaro, a guest of Peter Rogers, and May Yin, another guest of Bernie McIntosh. Would you please join me and make all our visitors and guests welcome. Now, District Governor Michael has been without doubt our most musical and socially active DG to date. He has surpassed everybody else in those 2 categories. His enthusiasm and service to the community has absolutely been iconic. And we're so pleased to have he and Alex here today. So I have great pleasure in inviting Michael to come and speak to us for a few moments. Thank you, Michael.
Members and guests, thank you so much. Today is actually the very last time I can address this wonderful club as District Governor. I was hoping to be here next week, but unfortunately we have to fly to Canada to be part of the convention. And about this time next week, I'll actually be on stage singing the closing ceremony. So this is why I got permission from the various powers that be within this club and sought permission to come and address you. Ever since I became, I found out that I was going to be this year's district governor, and this was about 3 years ago. This club and its members have treated me like family. I stand here so humble. I'm about to break this. So I'm going to speak up just in case this drops out. I stand before you extremely humble, extremely privileged to have been the steward of this wonderful district. This district that was the first in Australia because of you, because of the Rotary Club of Melbourne. And it is only fitting that I stand here to say thank you to every single one of you. Every single one of you, not only here, but I noticed that Stephen Lake is online at the moment. And Stephen was the one that introduced me to Rotary and to this club. And so thank you, Stephen, for being my mentor and bringing me along this journey. This year we've been extremely successful, but this success would not have been possible if it wasn't for the leadership that this club has shown. This club has actually shared many of its members to support district. To my left over here, Vice President Mary Barry has been spearheading our membership, charging and spearheading our membership portfolio, and ably supported by David Carruthers, our treasurer, who keeps me honest with the pennies that I end up spending. Thank you, David. I know that Peter Rogers in the role within the regional council has been extremely supportive of me. And I look around this room and each and every single one of you, I am so thankful for welcoming me and trusting me to be the leader of this wonderful district. So I'm not going to take too much time. I will be back, but I will be back with the feather duster the next time you see me. But I do thank you for your hospitality, your love, and your support. Thank you, Rotary Melbourne.
Thank you very much, Michael, for a fantastic year at District. And we look forward to continuing our wonderful relationship with you and Alex as we go forward. So well done, Michael. Give him another round of applause. What a great team, James. And Alex, you've done a wonderful job as well. Now to some notices. A reminder that next week is the final meeting of the year and all members are really encouraged to attend. Bring a guest and join me in congratulating our incoming President, Philip Cornish. The meeting will be held downstairs in the Fitzroy dining room, so please book to attend this important meeting of 2025, the annual President Changeover meeting. Look out for the NGV event on Friday, the 1st of August. This will be a terrific event. It's on every year. Please bring your partners and enjoy a wonderful evening at the NGV. And now to the business of the day. Without further ado, I will now call to the podium Vice President Reg Smith to take over today's meeting.
Thanks so much, everyone, for your warm welcome. Believe it or not, this is the first time I've done a Vice President's presentation. The last time I was Vice President for Quinn Scalzo, I was away overseas and couldn't do it. Someone deputised for me. But this year it's a real privilege because I think this is a year in which the club has really started to vibe again, the way we're used to it over its centuries. So I'm delighted to be here today. My presentation is based on this takeaway. Okay, the two-sided chart where we've made an effort to highlight the the things that have been significant highlights during the year. Our business as usual, a lot of stuff keeps on going, with volunteer support across the club. And then there's what I call the hatchery, which is projects under development. And there's no shortage of those right now, which is always a very positive sign. The frequent comment that I hear from members is that they value highly the diversity of opportunity to serve in this club. There really is a huge diaspora of diverse projects that are available to interested people. But another common problem or issue that people raise, why are there so many projects? Actually, I think most of the projects are in existence because there's someone willing to champion them. There's a committee willing to support it. So cleaning out the projects, so to speak, is not really a realistic option. We need to evaluate and make sure we do deal with projects that are not going well. And Mary's going to talk a little bit about a major development this year in terms of helping sustain projects. So right now, we've got roughly 10 functional committees, but within those functional committees, there's probably 30 to 40 work groups, champions and teams that are doing good work. Okay, so it's if in my view, a tip to any new member is take a look at the area and the committee focus that you're most interested in and get yourself involved in that committee, and you'll have a good chance. If you've got an idea, you'll have a chance of getting that committee to support it. If those projects you like the look of, you can contribute to those. So a little later today, I'll talk a little bit about our funding arrangements, but first let's look at what I regard as a few important and impactful projects that have come to the fore this year. Firstly, with the community, and you'll see you can get the order of the way I'm going to address this, starting with the Community Health and Ageing Committee. We see two important projects under development: an initiative to support the Bionics Institute with one of its research programs into the use of memory and helping to get older people overcoming their memory loss, and a really interesting one that Sandro Di Maio has brought to the club through Ramona Martinovici, which is looking at us promoting community awareness that scientific evidence is pretty useful and needs to be respected, and all this stuff that says, well, we're entitled to our opinion. Well, are they? That's going to be a big one, and I think as we refine that and get it working, it'll make quite a big potential impact. Turning to the Community Welfare Committee, major highlights include the continuing impact of something you hear a lot about, Make a House a Home, which is led by Richard Parker. The reason I mention it is because it's scalable, it's getting bigger, and its contribution to people moving into new affordable housing is having a very big impact in making that a much more enjoyable experience for them. Then there's Rotary Safe Families, which was founded by Dorothy Gilmore and Mary Barry around 5 years ago, I think, Mary. And Peter Berg, fairly early in its life, became the club champion for Rotary Safe Families, and his effort over the last few years has been quite impressive. And we've seen that project go international with major mega meetings in which our club has played a part, our district has played a part. So that's, I think, a major contribution that hatched 5 years ago, but is really an impressive contribution. So now the next one is the Welfare of the Young Committee. That's an interesting one everyone says, where do they get their money? Well, about 10, 15 years ago, someone said, why don't you go looking for money in the community? And they got a thing called the Peter Mackay bequest. And that's been a regular donor to that committee over the last 15 years, Bernie, I think would be right. And it enables us to really get involved in some pretty seriously big projects. One of the projects that probably one of the biggest they've supported was a 3-day workshop at the University of Melbourne Peace Initiative for more than 40 South Sudanese community leaders from around Australia, where they did some intensive training on peacemaking, but also a huge amount of collaboration with each other. I think everyone is aware that there's civil unrest at big time in South Sudan. And one of the impacts of this has enabled a unified voice to be formed from Australia to support the communities that are having trouble with each other over there. And it's getting huge praise from the South Sudanese government and from many people in home communities. That's been a very big highlight. At a practical level, Rotary Melbourne also has a dedicated team of mentors working with young men at AFRI Care out in Dandenong. And that has two dimensions. One of them is some physical support, financial support for two sporting teams, the Black Rhinos. One of them is a soccer team, the other one's a basketball team, and they're getting young kids involved in competitive sport, which they excel at, and it creates a whole community spirit there. But they're also mentoring lots of particularly young men who seem to be cut adrift when they come into this very different community. And that's having quite an impact on the conduct and motivation of people. So good on that team. That's Robert Fisher, Chris Wong, and several others who will probably be deeply offended I haven't mentioned, but I don't have their names written down. Finally, through the work of Peter Berg, the development of a STEM Sisters program introducing science, technology, engineering, mathematics to youngsters in rural locations that are denied access to the internet. Most of this organisation's content is online, sort of easy to read online and all that sort of thing. But if you don't have an internet connection, you can't get it. So we're funding the printing of books for those kids to get them started. And that will come into full force this year. And then under Quinn Scalzo's leadership of the Indigenous Programs Committee, working, I might say, with past President Peter Rogers, we had a bit of an issue with one of the water trailers this year. That's been fixed, and the water trailer program that's at the forefront of getting young Indigenous kids to wash themselves is well and truly being supported. Now, another name that many of you may not know, but he has been a member of the club for quite a while. He was very busy professionally. Is Joseph Ebbage, who is championing the reinvigoration of the Footy Nuts project, which sounds a bit cute, but actually its purpose is to encourage healthy dietary habits for Indigenous young people. And that's obviously in the supply situation for food where they live. That's a big deal. One that's really impressed me has been the Arts Committee's work this year. There have been several things that have really been exceptional. I mean, the club itself I still think it's still the only arts committee in any Rotary club around the world. But under David Cram's leadership, but with the very strong support from Tony Battani and Karen Kim, we've got through a proposal for the Rotary Melbourne Music Scholarship, and that's going to give lots of needy kids over the years access to expensive music training to help them fulfil their potential. And by the way, the presentation of that is likely to be a little later in the year, and there'll be some fabulous musical entertainment that comes along with that. So it'll be a highlight event. mentioning Joseph Ebbage again, he's now making great progress on implementing a Rotary Melbourne photography competition. And that photography competition will focus on the City of Melbourne. They've already expressed in principle interest in it, and that's going to feature life and lifestyle in Melbourne. Should be great. Turning now to one that we don't see delivering hard projects, but boy, it has an impact when it gets organised for the special meetings that we organise through the Vocational Service Committee. It's picked up the challenge of, and it's a huge challenge, of creating an alumni of the Young Achievers Award. Now that goes back, Marg, you probably know the facts better than I, but I think it goes back 15 to 20 years. And we've had a very high response rate from young people who received that award, giving us detailed information about how that award affected their life. And they've done so enthusiastically, and I think it's going to give us the basis for engaging those people in Rotary activities much more deeply as we develop that group. So make a point of coming along to see the Governor on the 25th of July, who is committed to presenting the Young Achievers Award to three young people this year. That's where the alumni is going to be showcased to the club. So under President Nominee's leadership, and it's Carol Bond, there are too many exciting international service directorate initiatives to do justice to the time available. I think I'm probably already running a little bit over, but I don't see Mary getting too nervous about that. Ruth Carlos Martinez has excelled in this club in continuing to identify opportunities to develop potable water and wash facilities in multiple Philippine villages. And as you can see from the chart, there's 3 of them mentioned there, and they just keep on coming. So it's very commendable. A particular note is the work of a relatively new member of the club, Tony Battini, on the Papua New Guinea snakebite project. That is a cracker, because it's saving lives almost instantly with getting anti-venom to people who've been bitten faster and better than it's been capable previously in the logistics of the PNG environment. Again, Peter Rogers deserves a mention, supporting Tony on that. We were so impressed with that on the board that we put him forward for this year's Axel Award, which is styled as a bit of a Vice President's Encouragement Award. Let me tell you, Tony's delivered a first-class Rotary project, and we want him to do more. So, Tony, I think he's online. He's currently in Surfers Paradise. We're not going to be able to present it to him today, but we have a senior executive from the Commonwealth Serum Laboratories addressing us on the 30th of July, and we'll combine his presentation with that. Final section, special mention, is the Environment Sustainability Committee, which commenced operation in 2020 when the environment became the 7th area of focus of Rotary International. This year, under the leadership of Barb Eurondas, we presented a stunningly good award to St Monica's College in Epping for reshaping, rehabilitating land using Indigenous knowledge. We thought that was unbelievable, and they did such a fantastic job in putting that together. So congratulations to Barb and her team. The other effect that's had is it's opened up some very high quality connections at the club between secondary schools around the metropolitan area, because this year we had 13 high quality applications, I believe, Barb, and it was actually a bit of a challenge sorting out who was going to be the winner. We had most of them there last week, which was absolutely fantastic. So this is a tangible outcome. And the $3,000 award from the club will go to St Monica's. The other thing I wanted to make a special mention, you're going to see a lot of this coming up. I'm not sure if Gary Fowler's in the room, but he's been diligently putting together support for a major reforestation initiative in Timor-Leste. This project will have significant environmental impact, but the really big impact of it is going to be creating economic opportunities for people in maintaining the forests that are being planted. And that's underway big time. They're talking about millions of trees being planted over the next few years. So it's a big one. So I'd just like to spend 1 or 2 more minutes. I'd like to close a little bit about a significant addition to how the club will going forward fund its projects. I think everyone's heard the initials PBI. That stands for Public Benevolent Institution, and it's a tax it's a tax deductible fund structure that can, around some fairly specific criteria, support projects that are having a direct impact on needy young people or needy people. It'll have its own board of trustees and will be appointed by the Rotary Melbourne board. So there'll be a high level of coordination between the two, but it will run under the very tight regulatory control of the ACNC, the Australian Charities and Not-for-Profit Commission. So that's a big one because it's going to give us opportunities to access funding from lots of charitable trusts that are not able to give to the current Rotary Club of Melbourne Community Foundation or to the Community Foundation Extension Fund. We're going to have to get organised and go out and pitch for that money, but it is there if we're skilled, and we ought to give it a go. So I think that's about all I wanted to say, and I wanted to say thank you. I hope this hasn't been a boring presentation. We decided not to kill you with PowerPoint today. It's us telling you the story. For me, there's one other thing I just wanted to mention, and that is that we're growing the number of opportunities where you can roll your sleeves up and get involved as a volunteer. And I think that really matters. Mary Barry and others have had a big part in creating the meal assembly events. That's been a ripper. It's gone well. I've forgotten the number of meals we've packaged, but it's in the multi-thousands. And there'll be more like this. In fact, when Brendan Nottle was addressing the club just a fortnight ago, there was speculation from his end that we might be able to help out in their cafe one night with a whole lot of homeless people. And I think that could be a really enlightening exercise for us. So watch this space. I reckon that'll hatch over the course of the year. And I see Philip enthusiastically nodding there. So thank you, Philip. So thanks everybody for your attention and giving me the opportunity to highlight a phenomenal effort this year by directors, by committee chairs and by project champions. I think it's been a great year. Take this away with you, study it carefully. There's always someone available who can give you more information about what's going on, but at least we've got in one place a compendium of our club projects. Thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you very much, Red, for that fantastic overview. Now it's my turn, and as VP for Club Service, it's my great pleasure to present you with the report on what's been happening in 5 key areas in our club. We're going to cover off membership, governance, sustainability, our speaker program, and communication. So let's begin with membership. We've seen significant growth and renewed engagement over the last 12 months, and this has been driven specifically by the outstanding leadership of our Director of Membership, Deb Yin Fu. We began this year with 162 members, and as of today, we've got 178, which is an overall gain of 16. We've inducted, wait for it, 24 new members, and we expect to reach 27 by the 30th of June. This growth has been generally fueled by a lot of personal referrals, increased post-COVID inquiries, and importantly, Deb's revitalisation of that wonderful membership pipeline. She has personally contacted and met with prospective members, and with great support from Bernie McIntosh, they've hosted them at Wednesday lunches to experience the club firsthand. Our members now span ages 24 to 98. Now, that's an impressive generational range, and we're all very proud of that. I'm now going to pause my presentation or my report, and I'm going to ask Debbie and Fu to the podium for a special presentation. A bit premature with the photo. Now, the Paul Harris Fellow, named for Paul Harris, who founded Rotary with 3 business associates in Chicago in 1905, was established in his honor in 1957 to express appreciation for a contribution of $1,000 to the Rotary Foundation to support humanitarian and educational programs, which are implemented and managed by Rotary clubs around the globe. It's the tradition of this club that naming a Paul Harris Fellow is based upon the contribution of an individual member or members of the community who practice deeply the Rotary motto of service above self. Today, we recognise the exemplar efforts of Debian Fu as a Paul Harris Fellow. Now, Deb was inducted into Rotary Melbourne on the 26th of April 2006, sponsored by her cousin-in-law, past President Chris Wong. At the time, Deb was already an accomplished professional. She was a partner at Phillips Ormond Fitzpatrick, a patent attorney, and a PhD holder in biochemistry. Her Rotary classification is Solicitors Intellectual Property. From the beginning, Deb brought her signature energy, intellect, and generosity of spirit to club life. Despite the demands of a high-level corporate career, she quickly immersed herself in service, contributing to the Healthy Hearts Project, promoting Rotary Committee, Second Bite, while also serving as Deputy Group Captain for Central Group. She is currently a member of Central 2 and is preparing to hand over the Group Captain to a newer member, facilitating and fostering the next generation of Rotary leadership, as she has always done. In her professional career, Deb had a deep commitment to science and innovation, where she helped researchers, universities, and pharmaceutical companies protect their discoveries in biotechnology. That same passion for science and education has shaped her Rotary work, most notably through the R100 End Hepatitis Now initiative, where she helped to educate other Rotary clubs on the impact of viral hepatitis through thoughtful, evidence-based research. At the heart of Deb's Rotary journey has been a powerful commitment to fellowship and member engagement. As chair of the Membership Development and Engagement Committee, and more recently, Membership Director, Deb has led with empathy, insight, and quiet determination. Her inclusive style, her curiosity about what members really need, and her ability to turn insight into action have helped strengthen the fabric of our club. Her work has included club-wide surveys, targeted member outreach, and engagement strategies that helped to bring in 27 new members, while also helping in a really important job to lower the average age of membership. In recognition of her service, Deb received the 4th Bridge Award in 21-22, honouring her outstanding leadership, warm friendship, and tireless volunteerism. She continues to be one of the club's most trusted and forward-thinking leaders, warm, focused, and always ready to step up when needed. And of course, winning the odd bottle of wine here and there. Rotary Melbourne is proud to honour Debian Fu with the Paul Harris Fellow, a tribute to her unwavering dedication to service, her passion for science and community health, and her deep belief in the power of connection. She exemplifies Rotary at its very best. Would you please join me in congratulating Deb? Thank you, Deb. Now, I'd like to give you the opportunity to respond.
Well, thank you for this award. You know, no one joins Rotary to get awards, but I'm really grateful to be named as a Paul Harris Fellow, and have the recognition that the club has given me for this award. Now, membership has been my thing, and but membership is not an easy gig, and but working with a great team makes it so much easier. And without that support and encouragement from members of the club, we wouldn't have been able to get the numbers that we have this year. It's always been a huge team effort, and you know, my right-hand man Bernie has been there, and of course we've got a strong membership review committee and membership strategy committee that have started up this year. But we also have a very effective mentoring program that's helped to engage new members and get them incorporated into the club. But it all starts with a new inquiry, and without new inquiries, I'd have nothing to do. So, you know, I need people to give me new inquiries so that we can get the ball rolling. These potential members are always encouraged to come to the lunch and to meet members of the club. And the feedback that I've got from all these new potential members is that we've got a wonderful club, we've got great people here, we've got interesting topics in our presentations at lunchtime, and we've got really interesting projects, which Reg has highlighted today. And there's a lot to pick from. So I encourage everyone to continue to encourage new members, and generally these new members come from our members encouraging their friends to join. And I thank all those people who have done that and brought new members to the club. The other thing I want to mention is that once the members are joined, we need to keep the members engaged, and that's what the Membership Engagement Committee does. And I've been the chair of the Membership Engagement Committee for far too long, but we need help. So it's our job to keep all of you members engaged in some way, shape or form, whether it's small or large. But the Membership Engagement Committee keeps an eye on how people are engaging and who might not be engaging. So, you know, we might give you a tap on the shoulder, not because it's a bad thing, but we want you to get the most out of your Rotary experience. So we need members to join the Membership Engagement Committee. So if you're interested in helping us do that, please give me a tap on the shoulder. So finally, I'm pleased to have made a difference this year and been recognised and named a Paul Harris Fellow. Thank you.
And thank you. And what a great year for membership. Now we're going to look at some of the governance issues. Now, governance, as we know, is really important. So we're not going to go through all the detailed day-to-day stuff, but some of the highlights are obviously, as Reg mentioned, the standing up of the PBI, which will occur over the next few months. We have a revised OH&S handbook, work led by Sharon Johnson, and this incorporates psychological safety. We've updated the risk register to reflect today's environment. And we'd like to thank our two committees for their ongoing diligence in terms of governance. That is the Audit and Risk Committee, focused on financial integrity, the Governance Committee, ensuring alignment of projects and policies with Rogue International and Victorian legislation. But the one thing I really want to focus on is something Reg touched on earlier, which is the Project Review Committee. This year we saw the launch of this committee, and it's an exciting new initiative, and it's designed to empower members to create bold, effective projects with real impact. It's co-chaired by the club's two vice presidents, and the committee helps transform great ideas into well-structured proposals that reflect our mission and drive lasting change. With so many new members joining Rotary in recent years, it is very important that we create space for fresh thinking and for meaningful contribution. The committee provides constructive feedback, practical guidance, and support around projects on structure, sustainability, funding, and risk. It works closely with the humanitarian club service committees to streamline efforts and, importantly, to avoid duplication. And it also has an important role, which is to help reinvigorate projects that may have stalled or lost a bit of momentum. What this committee is about, and this is really important, it's about enabling, not gatekeeping. And it's ensuring that Rotary Melbourne continues delivering projects that really matter. Projects that are member-led, strategy-aligned, and powered by service. Now, moving on quickly to Environmental Sustainability Committee. Under the dynamic leadership of this wonderful committee, we've amplified our impact and raised our profile across several exciting fronts. We celebrated World Environment Day with a compelling speaker on green hydrogen and alternative fuels, and we also honoured some student-led environmental innovations. We supported carbon offset projects in Timor-Leste, championed by Gary Fowler, reinforcing our commitment to climate action. Forged a new partnership with the Mernda Arboretum, advancing a draft MOU and opening up future volunteer opportunities. And we strengthened our tie with ESRAG, the Environmental Sustainability Rotary Action Group, both locally and globally, deepening collaboration and knowledge sharing across Rotary. And my final two comments are on our speaker programme and communication. My sincere thanks to Stephen Randolph. Our speaker programme this year was diverse and thought-provoking, and it certainly reflected the breadth of our members' interests. Over the past year, we welcomed speakers across a number of topics, including health and medical innovation, from genetic screening and sleep science to cancer prevention and polio eradication. Governance and leadership, we had speakers like Governor Margaret Gardner, Lord Mayor Nicholas Rees, and Sir John Monash Medal recipient, the Honourable Josh Frydenberg. International affairs and trade included leaders from the Australia-China Business Council, Africa Chamber of Commerce, and the UN. Science and technology, we had speakers from AI and biotech, green hydrogen, and lunar exploration. Social impact and community services covered homelessness, healthcare, and volunteer recognition. Culture and sport, very important, featuring AFL leaders, musical performances, and of course our grand final lunch. Urban development and sustainability, exploring smart cities, digital twins, and green space. And there was so much to learn, so much to be involved in. And the important thing is these sessions, they don't just inform us, they actually inspire us. They inspire us as a club, they inspire our curiosity, they keep us connected, and they equip us with great ideas for Rotary projects into the future. So speakers are important, and it's important we get good quality speakers. So well done, Stephen Rando. And finally, communications, another very important part. My sincere thanks to Sue Smith for the stellar work she does in producing week after week our weekly club bulletin, which is keep us informed and engaged. Well done, Sue. That is a humongous task. Probably not the one that's most noted in the club, but I can tell you the bulletin is absolutely a fantastic read. And of course to Adrian Nelson, thank you so much for elevating our social media presence. Your engaging and fantastic posts showcased our diversity, boosted our viability, and helped to create new interest in our club. So thank you to Adrian and Sue for exposing us to the world. Fantastic work. And in closing, it's been a remarkable year and an absolute privilege to serve as Vice President. My sincere thanks to everyone who's contributed, and a special heartfelt thanks to you, Jo Mavros. She is the heart and the engine room of our club. Her behind-the-scenes brilliance, calm leadership, and tireless dedication to keep everything running smoothly. We are incredibly lucky to have you, Joe, and thank you so much. And thank you again for everyone. It's been a privilege and an honour. I'll hand back to VP Rach to close the meeting.
Well, thanks very much, Mary. First of all, I'd like to say a big thank you to all of the guests that have put yourselves out to be here today. It's great. We've had nearly 50 people in the room. That's getting up there with our regular meetings. So thank you, and a big thank you, of course, to directors and chairs for their efforts over the course of the year. But special thanks to Adrian Nelson for stepping in at relatively short notice to make the reflection today, and of course to Richard Dent, who always delivers a highly relevant emceeing service. And then, of course, there's the setup team, and I'm not into self-praise, but it is an important part of the meetings, and there are a lot of people who do that quietly behind the scenes. So thank you to the team. I guess you've heard this several times already, but a reminder, next week is the club's annual president's changeover. As mentioned earlier, we will be meeting downstairs on level 1, and we hope you, partner, and heaps of friends, potential Rotarians, can join us for that celebration. President Catherine will be here to welcome our 109th President, Philip Cornish.